West facing a terrible defeat as the Beijing pact marches all the way across Europe and threatening to navally attack the USA, with many betrayals. But weak nations who only care about money, not righteousness. But karma knocks on the back, or is it too late? The betraying nations believe they did right, as they don't care about the West. They marched with the devil pushing the angels away. The Baltic crisis led to this, as Russian order wants revenge. So if you like this series, please subscribe and enjoy today's escalate. February 5th of 2030, the Russian order officially attacks the Baltics. Yes, they attack the Baltics, I repeat. Thus, leading to a big standoff with NATO demanding their immediate withdrawal. Are they too late to try to force the hand of the Russian order? Or are they just in time? Who can say? As the Baltic campaign begins, with war being threatened. And well, it's not a good situation. And yeah, you can see the three nations versus that monster. That's a fair fight. Well, definitely more fair than one time I was playing Hoi 4, I decided to invade Manchuria. And there, all of a sudden, the Axis, they joined the Axis. Oh, come on, that's not fair. But let's invade the Baltics. As they break through the front lines, and quickly they manage to push in and take Tallinn. Thus, at the same time, they move in and take Vilnius, the Memel area of Lithuania, and move up from the north and south and take Riga. At this point, this big encirclement falls, and NATO declares war, which leads to the NATO versus Beijing pact, or decides to join with NATO. Or at least what's left of it, with Saudi Arabia having left it, thinking they can easily defeat Saudi Arabia. That's a mistake. Well, we also have different terror groups supporting this. But let's get into it. The betrayals happen. As you can see, all the Beijing pact and NATO has gone to war, but a few betrayals happen. Starting with the first one, perhaps not unexpected, Turkey. Perhaps the second one also isn't unexpected, Hungary. And another two, Bulgaria, Slovakia. I'm sure those two aren't a big surprise. You might be like, oh, that's not going to do anything. Stupid Spain switching sides. Why did I come up with this one, or think this is even realistic? Oof. Well, just listen to Spain. They're clearly a traitor to the US-led alliance. And no, I'm not licking the American boots. Or am I? You, America. Why is that a saying for bowing to somebody? That's just disgusting. Although I'm sure there's people that's done that. And well, Serbia, it's your time to shine. And I think that's all. Yes, it is. But now to get rid of the last of the islands. And well, before we get in, before all the Bosnia and Kosovo stuff join NATO, with a few nations being taken over. Kuwait gets taken over. Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, and not long after, Oman. That's not good. Let's go to Europe, where, as these betrayals have just occurred, the Beijing pact is now advancing forwards. In the Middle East and Poland, the NATO victory chances is fading. Let's go to Poland. Poland is such a great country. Like, if you don't like Poland, I just assume you're evil. evil. Yes. That is what it means if somebody doesn't like Poland. And well, Poland, I'm sorry, but you're about to die. From the east, and the south. You keep getting partitioned. I almost feel bad for you. Except for the fact that I actually do. And Finland, stupid Russia. But you know what my plan is? Not to be a flop. And well, before Poland fully falls, a few nations join. Algeria joins the Beijing pact. South Africa joins in Nigeria. Clearly Nigeria, the North clearly did it because there's a bunch of terrorists. And that's what the Nigerians say. As Poland is about to fall, as Warsaw falls, Germany quickly occupies what's left of Poland. As Germany starts running it, and then Czechia falls to where the Germans are holding it. And with big advances in the south, such as the fall of Greece with Bulgaria, Serbia, and Turkey, the fall of Montenegro, Kosovo, and Albania. Tirana is encircled and then captured. A few other cities have been captured. As Srpska returns and Serbs in Croatia. Quickly, the Battle of Sarajevo breaks out with a victory. Bulgaria manages to move in and capture Bucharest, while capturing Constanta and other areas, while Hungary and Russia comes in from the north and the west. Now, they collapse. With Zagreb collapsing, as they push almost all of Slovenia out, but get stuck because of Italians holding the capital of Slovenia, however you say it. As the fall of Greece has occurred, this is a major collapse. And since this happened, Poland's collapsed and others. They start advancing towards the Rhine as fast as they can, a quick Rhine offensive, which quickly manages to take Berlin, encircling it first, and then it manages to take it, which it then moves north to take Hamburg, and then moving over like this, thus like this. The Rhine region is where the front gets stalled out, with a big encirclement in this mountainous area and up there. At this time, Spain takes the opportunity to take over Portugal, with a goal. And you might be asking, what's the goal of both sides? Well, Spain plans for now to hold the front like this, while the Russians plan to hold it like this. Right? As they take these lands, with those encirclements falling, and full-on invasions of the Nordics. And then once they meet, they want to come in from the north near Belgium, a little front to the south here, just to try to push across this area. That's not very useful. A push to Bordeaux, and Marseille is planned here. From the Balkan front, they plan to push into northern Italy, when the southern French forces meet, and the northern French forces meet. Both of these groups plan to move down to here, with Algeria landing here and here. And then once this falls, they plan to go up into the United Kingdom with all of these, and then up into Iceland, and then into Greenland, capturing these lands, just surrendering it, with their next plan to come in from Cuba and do this, Venezuela do this, Venezuela also do this. And they also plan to launch a smaller attack here, but they need to defeat Asia. With China knowing that, with China distrusting of these nations, believing they will join aside, these nations, believing they will join NATO. The NATO front, they believe India will join it too. Thailand and Vietnam, they don't trust. Meanwhile, for the Americans, who don't they trust, you might be wondering? They don't trust Brazil or Suriname in their own backyard. They aren't trusting Morocco or Ireland. Who knows why? They also don't trust Mexico, Nicaragua, or Honduras. And in Africa, they don't trust most nations. Like, they don't trust they also don't trust these guys. And this nation, they believe, will definitely join, whilst they're eyeing up these nations. China is eyeing up the whole Horn of Africa to get allies, but believing Somalia will likely betray. But the Democratic Republic of the Congo, unlikely to join, except for stealing their resources and enslaving their people, like the Chinese, the Russians, the Europeans, the Americans. Let's get back to the video. And at this point, as Germany quickly falls to the Beijing pact at the Rhine, well, for now, yes, they are about to break through Italian lines. Spain is on the doorsteps of crossing the Pyrenees Mountains. Once they do and the Rhine falls, they will be blitzed. France will be blitzed. Unlike me losing to Poland as the German Reich and blitzkrieg by France in Hearts of Iron 4. But don't laugh. A little bird told me, "You all done that before." Yes, I'm not the only loser. Well, anyways, wait a minute. This falls a lot later than I thought. Darn, that's late. With Italy now being attacked, but we gotta wait for. But before Italy gets attacked, one front closes on. As they move in and take Prague, quickly crushing the Bavarian resistance area. Then they move in, taking Slovenia's capital, moving into Venice, moving down here. Thus, while Arab forces land here and here. As Italy is on a two-front war now, from the north they march into Rome, quickly capturing it. You might be asking, what's their plan now? Make another layer? The plan is now, so this is the fronts with France. Right? That's the front. The coast. 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 And then let's change colors to red, because it's needed. With the first stages be to dive into Benelux, quickly pushing towards Paris to encircle it. Whilst at the same time they move in from the south here. While from Spain they move like this, quickly capturing this, but at the same time, Italy front they move to do this. Thus, after they get to here, taking Paris from two fronts, and then after they take Paris, thus meaning like this. Their front is definitely like this now, right? Like this after this part of the plan. Then they would take this. And then they move into the rest of northern France as they quickly move down south like this. But first, let's go to the Nordics. With the first one to fall being Denmark, as this leads to the front being smaller. And well, at first they attack Finland, right? Quickly encircling its capital and taking it. And here more falls, and Sweden starts falling from the south too, and the north. As the Nordic front is steadily falling back. As Stockholm falls, and then the rest of these areas fall. including some areas that didn't get colored in for some reason. With France, I'm sorry, but this isn't looking good. As from the north into France, they come from here. With Luxembourg falling, Brussels falling, and they get to Paris. From here, they move almost to Paris. This never happened. There's no landing there. Well, maybe tone down the color size. From Spain, they moved up to Bordeaux, whilst also moving towards Marseille, with the southern front meeting up with this front, while also going over here. With Paris being encircled and fallen, and the German encirclement in the Rhine also falls. From Italy, they march right towards meeting with France. With France being like this, thus, on this front, they move to here. Thus, on this front, they move up and capture Bordeaux. With this front capturing pretty much the last major area, France has fallen, and to take out the United Kingdom, they land in Scotland. And from their Scottish landing ground, they move south. As they move in and capture Edinburgh and Glasgow, they land in Northern Ireland. They move down. A southern landing takes London, Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester areas, with Wales area falling and this area falling, with them also now on a new phase. They're landing in Iceland and then into Greenland, quickly collapsing Greenland. You may be wondering how this all fall this fast. Well, yeah. The Asia front never really opened up. But don't worry, it will. Well, they attacked the U.S. Well, the Beijing pact has forced the hands of Europe. Speech is gone, China style, not Mao style. But revolution fires burn from Kiev to Lisbon, from Nuuk to Dubai, to the Strait of Hormuz. The war is rocking the coast. The Europe was full of hyenas. The beasts were unknown. The republics toppled to dictator bootlickers. They bowed to jackboots in a super submissive way, but the others fell like a wolf in battle against the humans. The world order is in crisis, and the USA is about to be attacked, but in Asia, a string of nations are about to stab China from the east and south, but China is unexpecting. Anyways, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bells for future updates like my Tunisia Empire video on Saturday, or on Monday, Oman Empire. Also comment your thoughts and theories on the alternate feature of the World Series. Also, check out the Italius Dominus playlist if you haven't any already. Wild Mapper out!